I didn't have a balanced life for a very, very long time. I was like the stereotypical entrepreneur that I'm just working 80, 90, 100 hours a week and I'll worry about my life later. And then when I turned 30, I had my first panic attack. I thought I was having a heart attack driving to a showing, which I've done thousands of times. And for 10 years, I literally had, at the worst, I was having 6 full-blown panic attacks a day that could have lasted upwards of 20 minutes.
What happened? How did you feel when you felt panicky, right?
I felt like I was having a heart attack. So literally, you can't catch your breath, your heart's racing. Like, some people sweat. I would describe it, if you went to the top of iHeart Studios and held me off by my ankle over the edge, whatever way you'd feel is how it feels. And I grew up and I always thought of myself as somebody who was mentally tough. I can do anything. Like, I can literally take on the world. So it's really, for someone who's an entrepreneur, it's just a mind bang, because you're like, oh my God, my brain is giving out on me. This is the thing that I make my living. It's my identity. This is who I am.
You're losing
and it's
control.
literally giving out on me.
Yeah, you're losing control. How did you handle that? How did you address it?
When I went to the doctor and the doctor said, oh, well, you're 30 now, so your brain chemistry just changed. That happens. When I believed it to be true, that was my first mistake, because they started giving you different drugs and you try different drugs and terrible side effects and it's not really helping. The problem is, if you're having a panic attack, I've learned now, it's like I do meditation. So in 2 years, I haven't had it. I haven't taken any medicine in 2 years. I beat the panic attacks. I'll say this, a very famous book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I recommend it to everybody, especially in negotiating. A lot of people don't realize he wrote a second book, and that book was called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. In that book, actually, there were so many people back in the day that had panic attacks and anxiety disorders, but they didn't call it that. They didn't know what it was. So, but when they're describing it, you're like, yep, that was all the problem all those people were having. So there was a thing in the book that was kind of an aha moment for me, and I started meditating and making sure I was sticking to my exercise regimen. It said, if you realize that panic and anxiety comes from your subconscious, it's basically just an alarm that's trying to tell you there's something in your life that's out of balance or out of whack. There's like something that you're walking through every day that you're ignoring or not addressing that you need to address and change. If you know that it's coming from your subconscious, and your conscious always overrules your subconscious, that essentially when that panic starts to happen, if I told you White House, gray elephant, you can't think of those two thoughts at the exact same moment. You can think White House, gray elephant, White House, but you can't think of those two things at the same time. If you realize that, and then you know your body's trying to warn you and that's coming, if you tell you, like I would tell myself, peace and calm, and I breathe in slowly, hold for 3 seconds, breathe out in the morning, like, make sure I'm like loose. Eventually it'll be like 20 minutes, then 15 minutes, then 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Eventually it gives up, and then eventually you can retrain and reprogram your brain. But when people tell you, oh, your brain chemistry just fundamentally changed, it's not true, because then you don't look for the things. That's the pharmaceutical industry basically just trying to say, take this pill, but you're not solving the underlying problem. It's like in business, if something's going wrong in your business, you can't just close your eyes and go, it'll be okay. You have to go, what's the problem, and fix the problem.